let's take a look at some sporting news where youth sport was concerned. Now, it was one of the most eagerly anticipated weekends on the schoolboy rugby calendar, and it didn't disappoint in any way. Now, from the Grey Derby played out on the Port Elizabeth coast to the biggest of them all in Paarl, this is your youth sports report, repeating the best of schoolboy rugby action from across the country that's on offer. Now, in the Cape, Paul Roos proved to be the stronger for their Southern Derby rival against Bishops, while Sax managed to pick up a well-fought 17-17 draw against Boland Landbou. In the Eastern Cape, Dale College continued with their impressive run of form this season with a 28-22 victory over St Andrews. Elsewhere, Graham College were narrowly edged out by Kingswood as the side from Grahamstown won their encounter by a solitary point. And Glenwood would be too strong for Affies, defeating the Pretoria-based side 36 points to 22. And Jeppe Boys lost a close encounter with Monument 24-22, the final score in that one. But in the two biggest matches, and also quite possibly the biggest upsets of the entire weekend, having not been defeated all season and having only lost this encounter on 7 occasions, it was College who were the stern favourites going into this encounter against their bitter rivals, Grey High School. However, it was the hosts who took the lead early on and it shocked all the College faithful with a drop goal from Garrick Matthias, followed by a Cohen Bosch converted try in the opening minutes of the match. College would draw a penalty back before the boys from Port Elizabeth added another 7 points, courtesy of a Jeremy Ward try in the corner. At 17-3 down, the Grey High School boys were in heaven, but they would need to gather themselves quickly after College hit their straps and converted a try to make it 17-10 with just 10 minutes left until the half break. Now, Cohen Bosch added a solitary penalty for the home side before the teams went into the break at 20-10. Now, the second half would see College outscore Grey High by 2 tries to 1, but thanks to some gutsy defending towards the end and misconversions, they managed to hold on for a famous 27-20 victory over College. It was the first time in 10 years that the school had managed to pull one over the boys from Bloemfontein, and it will be seen as a fitting tribute to a former teacher who recently passed away at the school. Now, an avid surfer who was an inspiration to pupils and colleagues past and present, Vaughan Jones will be remembered by all those at Grey High for his unwavering passion to teach the boys at the high school and his wonderful energy that he bring into the classroom. Now, in a fitting tribute to the fallen legend, the Grey High boys removed their blazers to spell out Jones on the stands during the rugby festivities, and as though he was there in spirit, the school dug deep to pull off a truly remarkable result. The surfing community of Port Elizabeth, together with family and friends, hosted a paddle out as well to commemorate a special man who lost his life during what he loved the most, which was, of course, surfing. Now, with the weekend almost over, it was time to turn the attention to the inter-schooler derby between Paarl Boys High and Parel Gym at the Foray Street Stadium in Parel. Of course, this took place on Saturday. Always touted as the biggest match of its kind for schoolboy rugby around the world, this year's installment didn't disappoint at all. A bruising battle in the middle of the park where Paarl Gym only found themselves in the lead thanks to a Grant Hermanus and, of course, missed opportunities from the boys of Paarl Boys High. Now, the score would remain 3-0 until the halftime break, and Hermanus was on target again in the second half as he made the scores 6-0 to Gym before Stefan Goos opened the home team's account for the match with a penalty of his own, making it 6-3 as it stood. Now, Grant Williams would then get the first try of the day, which Hermanus would convert to open up a 10-point gap and leave the Boys High boys a mammoth task ahead of them. But Rayan Lombard scored a try in response for the boys in blue and white. But thanks to another Hermanus penalty, they saw their chance to catch Gym slip in front of them. At 8-16 down, the Boys High thought absolutely that everything was drawing to a close. They were going to be closing the gap, and they would be rewarded with a converted Tristan Solomon's try with just seconds left to play. They would convert the try, but as they were rushing back to the halfway line, the buzzer sounded and the match was ended with Paarl Gym claiming yet another famous victory, this time courtesy of a tight 16-15 scoreline. And that's it from your youth sports broadcast all across South Africa. All of those rugby matches were really scintillating to watch. I in fact, watched the Paarl Gym and the Paarl Boys High one this weekend.